Welcome in, everybody, to Fantasy Pros. It's time to do another mock draft because this is the NFL podcast. This time, it is half PPR style. We've got one QB, two running backs, three wide receivers, a tight end. We've got some bench players, and we've got some true talent in the starting position. And by that, I mean my patty cakes, Pat Fitzmaurice. From Betting Pros, our good pal Terrell Furman Jr. And from NFL Network, my close personal friend, LaQuan Jones. LaQuan, it's great to see you back here again, my friend. I see you today drafting at the 10 spot here.
Yeah.
So you're giving Pat Fitzmaurice, your birthday buddy, just a little bit of breathing room. But yesterday we were talking about maybe you drafting right next to Pat. What made you move from 11 to 10 today? A little gamesmanship, just trying to get in his kitchen a little bit before the draft?
Just trying to get in his head a little bit. I give him a little space to breathe, make him think about his picks before making certain decisions. But we'll see. We'll see how it falls out.
All right, Pat Fitzmaurice, you're at the turn here again. Half PPR, Pat. Strategy changes a little bit. To me, I always look a little bit more for the touchdown makers. To me, those are the guys that move the needle for me. I'm also in the half PPR a little bit more apt to push for the early QB like the Lamar or Josh Allen if, again, they fall to me. But Pat, do you have any certain changes that you make going from the full to the half point PPR setting?
I honestly don't think it's that big a difference, Joe. So there are no sea changes in strategy, but man, I'm pretty interested to see what things are like from the 12 spot because I'm pretty confident I'm going to be happy with what I get at the 1-2 turn. It's the 3-4 turn. I'm really curious about whether I like what I get there or not. And if not, then I'm going to be hoping I do not draw that 12 spot in real drafts when the bullets start flying in about a month.
Oh, I prefer to be on the turns of drafts because being in the middle sometimes is tough. But Terrell Furman Jr. was born tough. He was made tough there. He is in the middle of this draft at 106. So, T, this is your first mock draft of the year with us. I know we are usually doing shows on the Betting Pros channel. You can check that out, by the way. Go over to Betting Pros, watch all of our previews because we're talking about win totals. We're talking about futures, everything going on right now on the Betting Pros side of things. But Terrell, I would like to lay even money that you take Malik Nabers here at 6. We'll see.
Oh, man. I mean, you might be in for a payday, a really, really big payday here. I love me some Nabers in the middle of drafts.
All right, so we'll see how things go. And remember, we're using our mock draft simulator here. And you can go find that over at fantasypros.com/draftwizard. Just download the Draft Wizard app too. It's the easiest way to go. So we are just a couple days away basically from the public multi-user drafts being allowed here. But in the meantime, use the mock draft simulator. It'll allow you to undo picks. It'll allow you to choose your settings, choose your league rosters, basically choose your own adventure and make sure you sync your leagues for free because the Draft Wizard Intel tools and all the tools here, you can even create robots based on the history of your league mates. So if you've got Johnny there who always drafts a quarterback early no matter what, and Denise who always goes 0 RB, well, guess what? You're all set up because the bots will help you prepare for your specific drafts. Again, you can only find this stuff over on Fantasy Pros. So sync your leagues today, download Draft Wizard, or go to fantasypros.com/draftwizard. So we're going to kick things off here. I'm at the 1 spot again, half PPR today. So I'm going to go ahead and take my boy Ja'Marr Chase. I do like Bijan up here too. I can't get mad at it at the end of the day, but it's still Ja'Marr Chase is my 101. I've also been very upset, Pat, especially. I'm going to send this one to you because I have seen a ton of Justin Jefferson falling in drafts, and I'm taking him every time he falls. Pat, have you noticed that too in some drafts that we've done recently?
I have, Joe. I know some people are getting cold feet just like they got cold feet on Justin Jefferson last year because no one liked Sam Darnold, and now they're worried about J.J. McCarthy, who has not taken an NFL snap. Shouldn't have been worried last year. Shouldn't be overly concerned this year. If you want to put CeeDee Lamb ahead of him, I'm okay with that, but I would not be putting, the next wave of guys, Amon-Ra, St. Brown, Brian Thomas Jr., and sorry, Terrell, I'm still taking Jefferson over Malik Nabers.
Oh, yeah. I think
that's okay.
Terrell would too.
That.
Terrell would too. Looks like I just cashed my ticket. Yeah, baby, because Ja'Marr Chase goes at 1, Bijan at 2, Saquon Barkley at 3, Justin Jefferson 4, Jahmyr Gibbs at 5, and Terrell Furman Jr., a man of his word, 106 Malik Nabers. All right, let's talk about this. So you took him over CeeDee Lamb. Some people might scoff at that. I don't, but I want you to tell the people why.
Oh, because if you look last year, he missed games, missed time, and he had Daniel Jones as his quarterback, and he had Drew Lock as his quarterback, and he had, Tommy DeVito as his quarterback, and he still finished as the wide receiver 8. I mean, as much as I'm anti-Russ, and I swear I'm anti-Russ, I really, really am. That's a miles better at the quarterback position. And then it's the unknown tap potential of Jackson Dart as well. I think Nabers healthy. He's going to have a great year all season.
Anti-Russ, I'm trying to remember back to last year and you and me arguing every single week about the Steelers. Where's this anti-Russ guy last year? I don't remember him. Anyway, let's keep going. Christian McCaffrey at 107, CeeDee Lamb at 108. And then at 109, Nico Collins. LaQuan, you are up, and you went with your boy at 110 here. Puka Nacua, set up for a huge season potentially here. And you are Mr. Ram after all, so you're staying on brand. But regardless, Puka, again, if he could just stay healthy and play all 17 games, he could be an absolute rock star yet again this year. So do you think that's possible? Can we get a full slate from him this year?
It feels like, the way he's talking about the confidence of him being healthy and prepared for the season, like it feels good to hear him talk about his health and say, I feel better than I felt going into last year's camp. So like having that a notion and understanding of like, look, man, this could be something special. This offense could be one of the best in the NFL. When you have two demons on the perimeter with Devontae Adams and Puka Nacua, who are you going to cover? So there's going to be a lot of one-on-ones where Puka is going to take full advantage. We already know he's a yak monster as well. So the yards up there to catch are just to the moon to him. So I feel like he'll lead the team in catches and yards, and Devontae would just carry all the touchdowns.
All right. After that selection, we go to Team 11 with Amon-Ra St. Brown, and then Pat Fitzmaurice at the turn, one running back, one wide receiver, Ashton Genty and Brian Thomas. Man, that is a hell of a start, Pat. I don't care what happens in 3-4 turn. 1-2 is pretty damn good.
It really is, Joe. And I did not know if Genty was going to fall. He did. I had to pounce there. I am not worried about anything Pete Carroll or his minions say about Raheem Mostert intruding upon the workload of Ashton Genty. I don't think that's going to happen. It certainly wouldn't be optimal coaching. Genty is just special. I mean, the contact balance is otherworldly. He is, he's elusive. He catches passes. There's really nothing this guy can't do. So I believe in him strongly. And then to get Brian Thomas Jr. on the turn. Like, I know Travis Hunter is going to steal some targets, but probably not that many targets because, Evan Ingram's gone. He's not going to be hogging those short area targets anymore. Like, Thomas did everything we wanted to see from him as a rookie. Scored touchdowns, made big plays, played hurt, played with an upper body injury. So yeah, I'm big on that combo at the turn. I'm very pleased with what I got there. We'll see what 3-4 brings.
Yeah, as you should be. Derrick Henry goes next at 202, then Drake London, LaQuan. So you paired Puka Nacua and Drake London together. That's a heck of a start in terms of volume. So how do you feel about Michael Penix now under center for the Falcons in 2025?
Oh, I'm very confident in Michael Penix. That small sample size sold me on those 3 games, Joey, because you look at what he was able to do. The vertical attack is already in place. And then when you have Zach Robinson mentioning that he wants to explore rushing upside with Penix, are we serious? Like, all I need is 400 rushing yards from Penix, and all I need is for him to keep chucking downfield going vertical with Drake London. And he's on the left side with a left-sided quarterback. So his attention always going to be at Drake London playing that X on the perimeter. So it's just kind of a no-brainer here.
Yeah, I'm confident in Penix too. I'm with you. More because of what I saw in college than what I saw at the end of last year. And people forget, man, that guy can move out of the pocket too and run a little bit and extend drives. And that's something that Kirk Cousins, not the best at. Not going to lie. It's not his strong suit. Devon Achane at 204, and then at 205, A.J. Brown, Bucky Irving, and then Terrell, you took Ladd McConkey here at 207. So Malik Nabers, Ladd McConkey, again, a lot of volume, a lot of upside. Big wide receiver build. How do you feel about Ladd here at 207?
Yeah, I've been more and more sold on Ladd McConkey as time has gone on. He didn't have a lot of targets last year, and I think that's fine. I'm not really too concerned about that. It's because I think he's going to be so explosive, and Justin Herbert's going to constantly look for him. I think the target count might actually go up here, and this is the thing with Ladd McConkey for me. What else are we doing here in Los Angeles? What else are we doing? Who else is the option? Where else are we going with the football? It's got to be Ladd.
Yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm hoping a little Trey Harris. I can see a little Trey Harris here and there. Jonathan Taylor,
Sign the
208.
contract.
Sign the
all
contract.
fantasy players
Bro.
crossing their fingers.
How about like note to all rookies? Sign your contracts. Sign them. Oh God. All right, let's get to the next pick here after McConkey, Jonathan Taylor, then Brock Bowers at 209. It's one of the later spots we've seen Brock Bowers go in this one, but actually I think that is where I am more comfortable selecting him. So that's interesting there. Josh Jacobs at 210. Garrett Wilson. Oh, you almost made it to me. I wanted to have Wilson, Jamar Chase. That was my ideal start. One pick before me. Not happy about that. So I'm going to pivot again. I'm going to take my hero RB here, Kyron Williams, a touchdown machine last year. Also a guy who's looking for an extension that's coming very quickly, LaQuan. You know that. You're out there in LA. Are you his agent? Are you getting this deal done for him soon? 14 touchdowns rushing last year, 2 receiving.
The fantasy streets know how I feel about Kyron, and I think those touchdowns are going to come down back to earth with Devontae Adams in the building. So I do hope, he does get paid, he gets extended, he stays where he belongs, but I'm hoping for a 1-2 punch out of that backfield with him and Hunter. So we shall see.
I don't want that at all, especially after this selection. So Tyreek Hill, my 301, because Tyreek Hill, I went from being like, I'm kind of out on Tyreek Hill to now, like, if you're going to give me Tyreek Hill in the 3rd round, what am I going to do? I'm going to price and force.
Smash.
I mean, because
speed pills.
Because the upside of this build here is Jamar Chase and Tyreek Hill. And just let's pause a moment. And if I told you last year you can get both of these guys on one team, you would have said that I was drunk. And I might have been, depending on what day we had that conversation. However, today is a new day, and I'm looking at this and I'm saying to myself, man, I just can't pass on that. So Tyreek Hill, Jamar Chase, it might bottom out. I get it. There's things about the Tyreek situation I don't love, but the upside of that 1-2 punch, considering these guys were going basically 1-2 last year, I can't say no to. Chase Brown next, then Rashee Rice, Devontae Adams. You can't get him today, Terrell. I almost took Adams and Hill, but I wanted to get that one RB in. We'll see if I'm happy with that decision. Trey McBride at 305, and then Terrell, another wide receiver, T. Higgins. I also thought about T, but I was like, man, do I want to do that whole thing? Do I want to go full Bengals this early? But Nabers, McConkey, Higgins, that's a hell of a 3 wide receiver build.
Value right there on Higgins.
Yeah. Terrell, your thoughts?
Oh, man. I mean, I love the Higgins build. And I like when we have these 3 wide receiver leagues and I go heavy wide receiver because running back, it just gets so volatile during the season. You have injuries, you have all this, you have breakouts that come out of here left and right. And I'm like, man, if I can just hit good on running backs in the later rounds and I can stack those wide receivers, especially in heavy wide receiver leagues, I love doing it. So I was really glad to get a value of T. Higgins, of somebody that I think Joe Burrow's going for an MVP season this year because, of course, it's his turn.
Yeah, I agree. It is his turn. I've made that bet. Head over to Betting Pros, watch more of our content. It's one of the few things Terrell and I agree on. So, but it's more fun when we disagree, which is 90% of the time. Terry McLaurin goes next at 307. I'm not worried about him yet either. We're still waiting for him to sign. I just feel like they're going to get that done. I think it's all a bunch of nonsense. Jackson Smith at Jigba at 308. Lamar Jackson at 309. LaQuan, you went 3 straight wideouts too. So you and T got the same strategy here. DJ Moore is your wide receiver 3. Not too shabby, my friend.
Listen, man, with Ben Johnson on the sticks, I mean, look, man, the potential of this offense can be amazing. Just with DJ Moore being how versatile he is, you could do everything and anything you want with him. Like, if you want to use him like how Jameson Williams was used, you want to hit him on deep threats, you want to hit him on screens, etc. You could do literally everything and put him anywhere on that offense. So I'm looking for a top 12 smash between Puka, Drake London, and DJ Moore. So I'm just going to leave it there for that.
Can't argue with that. After DJ Moore, Marvin Harrison, who was debated. If you missed it, go back and watch live our fantasy football courtroom debates there. Fun exchange there. And I'm wearing the old-timey judge wig, so that's worth checking out. Marvin Harrison, one of the guys we just covered, to draft or not to draft. Pat Fitzmaurice at the turn. This is crucial. This is the moment, Pat. You went tight end with George Kittle and then wide receiver with Mike Evans. So Genty, Thomas, Kittle, Evans. Pat, I don't know how you could possibly be unhappy with this.
Not unhappy at all, Joe. And I wasn't sure if I was going to have an opportunity at one of the premium tight ends. Well, I knew I wasn't going to get Bowers on the 3-4 turn and not McBride either, but I wasn't sure if Kittle was going to be there. Delighted that he was. Last year, Bowers averaged 12.2 half-point PPR points per game. McBride was at 12.1. Over the last 7 seasons, George Kittle has averaged 12.2. 7 seasons, everything after his rookie year. Like, I've got him ranked ahead of Trey McBride, and I know that is a very minority opinion, but like, I don't care. Kittle's fantastic. And I think the target outlook is still really good. And Brock Purdy is a really good target delivery mechanism. So happy with him. And then who's ever disappointed with Mike Evans? I mean, I know he's getting older and he's probably not going to be quite as efficient, but I think it's going to be a gentle fade, if at all.
I feel like we've been hearing that story for a long time now. One of these years it's going to be right. I just don't know if it's this one. All right, before we continue on with the rest of the draft, you should get in the game too with Best Ball live at DraftKings. $15 million is on the line with real stakes and real excitement. Best Ball is the biggest fantasy contest at DraftKings, and we're talking about $15 million guaranteed in the prize pool. 2 millionaires are going to be crowned for the first and second place. Can't go wrong there. And if you want a shot at the winning of $15 million, it isn't enough to get you excited. That's not enough for you. But check this out. DraftKings is offering everyone a draft one, get one special. So your $20 entry fee scores you a bonus ticket. I mean, come on, get in on that. Download the DraftKings app now. Use that promo code FantasyPros. That's FantasyPros, all one word, for customers who enter the NFL Best Ball $15 million millionaire contest to get a bonus ticket and a shot to be crowned one of 2 millionaires only on DraftKings. The crown is yours. Let's crown some more picks here in our draft after the Kittle Evans selections. DK Metcalf, Breece Hall. So LaQuan, do you feel comfortable with Breece as your hero RB? This was a guy in that, second round conversation last year. He's fallen all the way to the fourth. That seems like a value on its face.
Yeah, that's a value for sure. And he's looking around, seeing his guys getting paid, and he's wondering where the money is in his pocket. So I'm expecting to be playing with him playing with a chip on his shoulder, trying to get this bag and prove his worth. And I understand that, last season was kind of just like a meh season, and Braylon Allen obviously going to be involved. But if I can get a discount version of the Detroit Lions 1-2 punch backfield with Tanner Strand on the sticks, if there's any type of Ben Johnson influence on this offense, I want a piece of it.
I agree. And I think Aaron Glenn wants to run the football, play defense, run the football, and run the football some more. And you're going to see a lot of that. Take your shots with Garrett Wilson, run the ball with Fields, run the ball with the RBs. We'll see what happens. Take our chances that way. It's a good recipe. James Cook at 404, Ken Walker 405, then Josh Allen. Terrell, you took my boy Chuba Hubbard at 407. A great back in college who took a lot of crap, and people said he would never be a big RB in the NFL. And guess what? He had another great season last year. He got paid last year too, which was a little surprising at the timing of it. But looking back, that was the right call there by the Panthers.
Yeah, absolutely the right call. And he completely dominated. And I think this is an opportunity where now everybody's kind of not sold on what the Panthers have going on with the question marks at running back. They bring in a Tony Pollard. You have the Jonathan Brooks on the injury that they constantly want to be this next thing. But Chuba's just been so solid and really, really good that I just think just give the ball to Chuba. When he was having their best games, Bryce Young looked the best. And that's ultimately what the Panthers need to do. They need to make Bryce Young look good. So they have to go back and get into some Chuba Hubbard here.
Jaden Daniels goes next, then James Conner, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow. I selected Alvin Kamara as my RB2. He is the standalone piece of the New Orleans Saints offense that I can stomach. Nothing else. I remember last year people saying, he's not going to be really good anymore. Yeah, okay, great, whatever. Alvin Kamara just finished his RB10 last year, and he had 68 receptions. I know the quarterback play is going to suck. It sucked last year. What's the difference? Courtland Sutton, my third wide receiver, but he's a number one on his team, and he was a fringe wide receiver last year, so it was my wide receiver 3. That's a little relative position value I'm throwing out at you there. So, again, RPV's telling me that if I got Courtland Sutton as my 3 rather, he is a huge advantage over most people's 2s, let alone as a wide receiver 3. You can always check out the Black Book on Amazon for more of that good stuff in RPV. See a little plug I just threw in there. Jamison Williams, go support the boys. Erickson, Debro, we all work on that every year. Bogman's is the IDP. It's a good time. Jamison Williams at 502, Zay Flowers 503, Joe Mixon, then Devonta Smith. Terrell, you went with RJ Harvey, so we both took Broncos this round. RJ Harvey, again, Derek Brown loves, other people don't love him as much. You feel pretty confident with him as your RB2. Could he be Sean Payton's next Alvin Kamara?
Yes, so I have allowed Debro to influence me. I really have. Yeah, and I'll admit it. I have. And so I was never sold on anybody in that Broncos backfield. Not one, never, anybody. Then they bring in J.K. Dobbins, and I'm like, great. I'm even more not sold on it. So when I saw the potential of a R.J. Harvey breaking through, I'm like, oh wow, I could get somebody that I think that I could trust with majority of the touches in a backfield that has honestly no role for anybody. You can sit here, they love some McLaughlin, then they love some Estimate, then now it's J.K. Dobbins, and last year it was Javonte Williams. It's all these different names that they just play around with. Harvey could walk in, be really, really good, and get the entire workload. So yeah, I will take a stab on a RJ Harvey, and if he's wrong, guess what? I get to blame D-Bro.
Yeah, then you know what? Perfect. That's the way you fill it out. That's the way you sum it up. Xavier Worthy at 507, also on the recent Fantasy Court Debate show. Check that out. Patrick Mahomes, Chris Godwin, George Pickens to LaQuan. Now I'm with you here. This is exactly where I want to take Pickens as like my flex guy, my fourth wide receiver. That is my ideal spot, LaQuan, and you must agree.
Yes, I agree. But this was actually supposed to be the RJ Harvey spot. Like, honestly, like Terrell came in and swooped in, took him a little earlier than expected. But I'll take Pickens on a top 5 Cowboys offense. Like, do we understand that Dak finally has a number 2? Like, CD and George Pickens can both put up 1,000 yards and then double-digit touchdowns. This is actually possible for this Cowboys offense because we know what Dak brings to this offense when healthy. It's 4,500 yards and it's about 30, 35 touchdowns. So there's enough to go around for Pickens and CeeDee Lamb to coexist and get him as my wide receiver 4. This is a flex play that's a lock every single week. I don't have to worry about whoever I draft next.
Agreed. It's got Boom in there. There might be some bust weeks, but a lot of Boom too. If Godwin had made it to you, would have taken Godwin over Pickens? I know I would. I'm curious about you.
Godwin over Pickens? Nah. Godwin, we don't even know if he's going to be ready for week 1. Like
he's going to be ready for week 1.
I need folks that are going to be 100% ready to go week 1. I'm setting the tone the first 4 weeks in my league. So I ain't worrying about no guys that are coming off an injury. So you can go ahead and sleep over there. I'm good.
Pat Fitzmaurice is always ready for week 1. Amari and Hampton goes at 5'11", but Pat, you went at 5'12". You selected Ted McMillan and Aaron Jones. I want to talk about Jones here because that's not a guy that I feel like I've seen you draft a ton of. I feel like on this show, we've talked a lot about Jordan Mason quite a bit and what a good late selection he is because it cost you far less. So a lot of tread on the tires, some age for Aaron Jones. He's got more of that typical running back age out lane that he's driving through right now. So talk to me about the Ted McMillan volume potential and talk to me about the Aaron Jones upside and downside, because again, I think this is one that's a little bit more of a disputed selection here.
Yeah, I mean, I do like Jordan Mason, Joe, but I like both of the Minnesota backs. Aaron Jones is coming off a season where he had over 1,100 rushing yards and over 400 receiving yards. So he gave us a 1,500-yard season. And the only thing that really, well, I mean, Mason's here now, and maybe Mason takes a little bit of the load. But the Vikings have dramatically upgraded their offensive line, which I like. And we're getting Jones like in the mid-20s at ADP. And I know he's 30 and the age cliff is looming, but didn't miss a game last season. And like his efficiency numbers were fine. So yeah, I'm willing to buy in, and I always want pieces of a Kevin O'Connell offense. And then Tet obviously has a clear path to being like a top 10 target earner in the NFL. Mm-hmm. There's just not a lot else in that Panthers wide receiver core. And, this is a guy who was a big time producer in college and just has this planetary catch radius. I could see him being a major touchdown scorer right off the bat. And we saw a lot of improvement from Bryce Young down the stretch last year.
Yeah, that is true. Also, I want to remind everybody who's watching today, drop your comments below, subscribe to the YouTube channel of Fantasy Pros. We're trying to get to 300,000 this year, and we could do it with your help. And we're giving away a signed James Cook Bills jersey for free. That's right. You heard me. For free over here at Fantasy Pros. It's from pristineauction.com. All you have to do right now, subscribe to Fantasy Pros YouTube channel, drop your comments, like this video, and don't forget to ring the bell till it goes ding so you never miss a piece of content, and we can let you know if you're the big winner this month of the James Cook signed jersey from pristineauction.com. Great place to get all of your swag. All right, let's get to some more picks here. After Pat's 2 selections, Aaron Jones at 601 begins the 6th round. Tony Pollard, then DeAndre Swift to LaQuan. So DeAndre Swift as your number 2. Now I gotta say, I like DeAndre a little bit more in the PPR room than the half-point PPR room. Again, I always feel like somebody else has taken those touchdowns away. Not to mention now you've heavily invested, my friend, in the Bears offense. So how are you going to sleep at night?
What if
Yeah.
Caleb doesn't? Nah, I'm playing. I'm not playing on getting Caleb in this mix. But I think DeAndre Swift, even in half-point PPR, where we're looking at the opportunity, he's the RB1. He had his best fantasy season under Ben Johnson's system. People forget that. It's all 70 targets, so the passing opportunity is obviously there. But last year, that scheme was just god-awful. How is he supposed to work behind that terrible O-line? But there's certain metrics where he showed explosiveness. He showed usage in the red zone and be able to have that striking distance opportunity. So I think, Roschon Johnson, Kyle Monangai, they're going to be battling each other for that backup role for that David Montgomery. Swift, to me, is that Sonic of this Ben Johnson vision of this backfield.
Okay, there you have it. So after DeAndre Swift, Travis Hunter, Jalen Waddle, Travion Henderson, my dude, and then Rome Odunze at 607. I like this pick, Terrell. I liked Odunze a ton in college. I think last year you can't really judge him or anything the Bears did because it was such a disaster. So how much better could it potentially be here for Odunze in year 2?
Oh, I mean, the continuity of just playing alongside Caleb Williams in year 2 and seeing Caleb Williams visibly trust him a lot more with the football, I think that he can go all the way up to the moonshot. We know he has Caleb Williams as an arm on him, and we're going to see the talent of all of that go on in Chicago. The only thing that I was concerned about is who's going to be better this year. Is it going to be a year 2 Caleb Williams, or is it going to be a year 1 J.J. McCartney? Because my options right there was Addison and Odunze, and I just decided to go Odunze.
It's McCarthy. Stop listening to your Beatles albums. You did this the other day.
Oh,
What is it with you? You just let it be, Terrell. Just let it be.
I always say it. I always say it thinking I'm saying the right thing.
I know, but it's early for Terrell too. He was up late watching, WNBA stuff. All right, let's get to Calvin Ridley, 608. David Montgomery at 609. And then you have Sam Laporta, TJ Hawkinson, a little tight end run. And I'm going to get in on it. I'm going to take Caleb Johnson at 612. If there was a running back built for Pittsburgh, it's Caleb Johnson. I love getting as my third RB here. And then I took Mark Andrews, a touchdown machine. Again, I do think half PPR touchdowns do matter a little bit more. Mark Andrews had more than anybody after week 7 last year. And we're talking about 10 that season, just from week 7 on. Incredible run there for him. And I think he comes back to being the guy there. After that, Isaiah Pacheco, Quinshon Judkins. There you go. Justin Fields at 704, Juwan Jennings, and then Terrell, back to you with Tyrone Tracy. So with Cam Scatterboo there, I'm telling you, this one scares me a little bit. It doesn't scare you. Talk to me about Tracy versus Scatterboo.
Yeah, so I understand Scatterboo is the hot new toy and everybody wants him to come in and immediately be into this Giants offense and all that, but they really, really like Tyrone Tracy. And if I know Joe Shane, like I think I know Joe Shane, he wants to prove, hey, man, I can hit on both of these backs. I can make sure both of these guys are relevant. I told you Tyrone Tracy was a great guy last year, and it was a bright side in what was a horrible season for us. He's going to roll that over this year. It's not going to be a one-and-done year type thing. So I think they're going to give Tyrone Tracy every single opportunity to succeed here because they want to continue to make Joe Shane and that last year's draft class look even better than year 2.
Okay, so after Tyrone Tracy, Chris Olave, Brian Robinson, Jerry Jeudy, LaQuan QB with Bo Nix. Rough start to the year, but afterwards he really figured things out. Finished as QB7 last year. I think that's still a surprise that everybody keep looking at and go, wow, QB7, really, Bo Nix? But that's the case. So any fear of a sophomore slump for Bo Nix this year?
Nah, man, it's Knicks tape season, man. I'm a big Bo lever because based on him yelling in Sean Payton's face, he told him to get straight and get it right, man. I got this offense underhand, and you just see the way he plays. It's just so fluid and just so electric of how this offense is operating under Sean Payton and Bo Nix. And look, they added more weapons. They added Pat Bryant. They added Evan Ingram. They added RJ Harvey. The sophomore slump, I'm not fearful for because the O-line was one of the best in the league last season. And Bo Nix is operating like as if he is a veteran quarterback out there with 61 college games under his belt, by the way.
Yeah, I like Nick's tape. Very good. Well done. Love a good dad joke. Evan Ingram goes next at 7-11. His teammate, then Pat Fitzmaurice at the turn, Khalil Shakir and Javonte Williams. So Shakir looks like at least the floor guy in Buffalo. And Javonte Williams, again, I don't know what the role is for anybody in the Dallas backfield. So are you just throwing darts here, hoping you're right, Patty?
Yeah, that's kind of it, Joe. Number 4 receiver for me, number 3 running back for me. And Shakir does give you that safe floor. I think it was between Shakir and Jacoby Myers for me, but I already have Ashton Genty. I don't want to be too overweight on the Raiders. So Shakir it is. And who knows, maybe he has some target upside because there's not a great deal of competition for targets in Buffalo. And then Javonte Williams, like what if he really is fully, completely healthy, which he is hinted at this year. Like at his best, Javonte was fantastic. And we were, counting the days until Melvin Gordon retired so Javonte could take over that Denver backfield. Catches passes, runs with power. He's got some touchdown upside. Like what if he's back to full capacity and, operating as the lead back in Dallas? I'll take that chance this late in the draft.
All right. After Williams, Baker Mayfield, boy, that a value on Mayfield, 802. That's nuts. Deebo Samuel, love this pick, LaQuan. Deebo, my thing with him is like, is he motivated? Is he in shape? The answer to both of those questions seems like a resounding yes to me so far. So I love what you're doing here with Deebo at 803. That's another feel good. I mean, talking about depth piece. If he's great, he becomes a trade chip on this kind of roster. And if he's not, he doesn't hurt you at this selection.
It's more so Cliff Kingsbury of what he wants to do creatively. Like he had Andy Isabella in our face. He had freaking Rondell Moore in our face. Like there's design touches that are there for Deebo to get back to the Deebo that we like. I don't know if Deebo gets touches out of the backfield with Brian Robinson and Eckler there, but who's to say he doesn't, So I feel like he's motivated now because he spent his time on the internet getting called Thick Deebo, Hamburger Deebo. I mean, look, he seems motivated with this offseason, seeing his videos on his Instagram and stuff working out. So we shall see what Jaden Daniels does with a Deebo Samuel as my wide receiver 4-5.
Yeah, certainly does. And when Austin Eckler gets hurt, I'm sure Deebo will get some opportunities in that backfield. Jordan Addison, 804, Ricky Pearsall, 805, then Cam Scatterbo, Najee Harris. I like this pick here, Terrell. Boring old veterans with boring old school coaches typically leads to good fantasy results.
Yeah, well, I'm glad you like it because it was an accident. It wasn't. It wasn't supposed to happen. You were going on your Beatles rant about me, as I always do, and I completely was distracted and I panic picked Najee. But I'm happy about it because this is a Greg Roman offense, and so Najee Harris is the type of back where you just got to keep giving him the ball and churning and just let him go to work. And that's what Greg Roman does. If Greg Roman's going to do anything, he's going to excessively give his running backs the football.
Well, maybe if you needed a little bit more help in your draft, you could use some of the tools on the draft assistant here over on Fantasy Pros. Just putting that out there for you. It's just something that would help you. And look, the draft assistant kind of, holds your hand, if you will, through a lot of the selections you're making. I'm hoping I'm making enough Beatles references for some music nerd out there. I think Pat maybe possibly enjoys them. Everybody else does not. All right, let's get to some more picks here after you get Najee Harris. Ramondre Stevenson goes next. Then Jaden Reed at Josh Downs. I was hoping Reed would make it to me. He did not. Then Jacoby Myers, another guy. Every year, underrated. Jacoby Myers. Every year, all this guy does. Terrell and I talk about it every season. He's just going to go out there and catch 80-something balls every year and just be, nobody seems to care. Nobody cares. He's always like wide receiver. Yeah, wide receiver, like 24 every single year, basically. He's like, okay, I'll take it. But I couldn't because it went right before me. So I'm going to pivot. Took Kyler Murray at 812. So now I got to stare at his face all season looking unhappy, but whatever. It's business. It's not personal. Then Stephon Diggs at 901. I'm going to roll the dice here and see what happens. And again, 9th round, just going to hope for the best here and try to back it up with my next picks. Darnell Mooney at 902, Michael Pittman, then Rashad White, Brandon Ayuk, and then Travis Kelce goes next to one Terrell Furman. All right, so let's come together on this pick here, Terrell, and let's talk about Travis Kelce.
Yeah, the mock's draft time is to see how you like your rosters and how they stand up. And I never normally go for a Travis Kelce or somebody like this around this time, but I want to do it and I want to see, okay, how do I like the rest of the roster if I do go for a Kelce or somebody like that around here? Because I think there's a real possibility that, hey, what if there's this blaze of glory that Travis Kelce goes out on and he's falling way too far in drafts now. Like that could happen because I think Patrick Mahomes could be really, really good this year. And so let's just see how the rest of the roster stacks up. And if I don't like it, then we won't do it anymore.
Okay. We're not going to do it anymore. Terrell said it. Okay. After that selection of Kelce, Jalen Warren, Cooper Kupp, Jordan Mason, and then Njoku for you. So LaQuan, as long as you've got Joe Flacco, you've got a useful David
Jersey's
Njoku.
finest.
The question is, how long does that last, right, baby? Because that's really what it's all about. How long can that last?
Here's the thing about if you take David Njoku, you got to understand you're probably going to get half the season, maybe less than that with Joe Flacco, Pretty Flacco, and Jersey's finest out there. But I definitely want to take those PPR points in this first half at the tight end position, especially in those premium leagues. Like I'm still taking David Njoku, but best believe I'm double tapping on that tight end soon.
Okay, there you go. Next up here after Njoku, Zach Charbonnet goes off the board, and then Pat Fitzmaurice gets his QB. I'm so proud of you, Pat. Drake May at 9-12, Travis Etienne at 10-01. So Etienne, another player hotly debated. Erickson likes him more than Debro. Debro is done. But the question is, can Liam Cohn revive Travis Etienne, who dealt with injuries last year, and when he was on the field, he wasn't very good. Maybe it was because of the injuries. Maybe it's more than that, but this is his last year to kind of figure it out here before the new contract is looming. Does that enter into your psyche when making this selection?
Yeah, it does. A little bit. Well, it's an ambiguous backfield, no question about it. But I'm going to lean into the ambiguity. It was only, early in the 2023 season that Etienne was producing as like a top 5 running back. And I think maybe the new scheme that Liam Cohen is bringing in, which is more of an outside zone scheme, is probably a little better suited to Etienne than what the Jaguars were running last year. So I'm optimistic. And at this late cost outside the top 100, it's not going to crush me if Etienne doesn't pan out. So I'm cool with him there. And yeah, Joe, you know I love Drake May. I mean, I'm predicting last year Jaden Daniels was the cheap running quarterback that everyone should have been targeting. This year, I think it's Drake May. I think he can run for 800 yards this year, and they have improved his infrastructure in the passing game with better linemen, better wide receivers.
I love it. That would be amazing. If he gets to 600, I'll dance a jig. But 800, that'd be fantastic.
He was pacing for over 600 last year, Joe.
I know, but he was also running for his life because the offensive line was so bad, and he had no one to throw the ball.
It was all
great separation, and nobody's fast on that team either. Patriots had a lot of problems. What I'm trying to say, Pat. Patriots had a lot of problems last year.
They did, but it was all like scrambling yardage last year. If they put some design runs in for him this year, look out, man.
Oh, I love it. The Patriots got their franchise QB of the future. So sorry, rest of the league. I know you hate it when we get our franchise QB. Travis Etienne goes to Pat, and then Matthew Golden at 10:02. Pat very openly has passed on Matthew Golden, just for the record. Let the record show. I know this is not the court show, but I might have to pull my gavel out just to let the record show that. J.K. Dobbins at 10:03 to LaQuan. So LaQuan, J.K. late signing here. Interesting because you already have RJ Harvey. Oh, no, I'm sorry. You don't have RJ Harvey.
I wanted Harvey.
You wanted Harvey. You talked about it. You didn't get him. So is this your way of getting back at Terrell for taking Harvey?
Nah, man. And this is just wanting a piece of that backfield because if we remember 2017 with Mark Ingram and AK, Alvin Kamara running that 1-2 punch, they both were top 10 fantasy running backs that year. This is kind of the formula that Sean Payton's going for, and I want a piece of it. J.K. Dobbins, he may not have that breakaway speed, like unhitch the trailer. I mean, I understand, but he still has that vision and efficiency. That's what keeps him employed because he has an elite vision of where to hit these gaps and hit these holes to keep the chains moving. So opportunity is definitely on the table for J.K., so I'll take him. He'll be a flex play 1 week or two.
Okay. Keon Coleman goes next at 10:04. Tajay Spears, Cedric Tillman, then Terrell took Justin Herbert as his QB. So Terrell, you waited on QB here and you took Herbert. Why now and why not just wait for another round? Maybe you get a Purdy, Caleb, or Dak, or even Jared Goff falling in your lap. What was it about Herbert that stood out to you here to make the selection now?
It's less about Herbert and more about the team he's on. I think that the Chargers might find themselves in a good amount of shootouts this year. Honestly, I don't know if the defense is going to be at the level that it was last year. A couple of steps back, they lost some pieces in free agency. So I like it here for Justin Herbert to go out there and have a big season and be able to carry this offense and keep them in games.
Justin Herbert goes to Terrell, then Rashid Shaheed. Wide receiver run, everybody. Shaheed, Trey Harris, Emeka Egbuka, Kyle Williams. So Egbuka, Trey Harris, Williams all go out of my queue. I'm very annoyed at the draft wizard, but this is why you draft here. This is why you use the simulator. This is why you use the mock drafts and you go to our Discord and there's a whole mock draft channel and fantasypros.com/chat where people are just doing this all day. This is why you got to be ready to pivot. So I'm going to pivot to Christian Kirk here at 10:12 and then Rashad Bateman at 11:01. I'm investing with offenses with quarterbacks that I believe in and let the chips fall where they may. Austin Eckler at 11:02, Nick Chubb 11:03, Kyle Monangai. Team 4 has to be the Joe Pisapia robot. If it's not, I don't know what's going on here because there's no way Kyle Monangai could possibly go this high at this juncture. I'm so proud, Team 4, but look, you could have waited another round. Trey Benson, then Terrell, you took Tank Bigsby here with your next selection at 11:06. So everybody's got a piece of the Jacksonville backfield. When you have 3 running backs, Terrell, with Tootin, ATN, and Bigsby, do you have one? That's the question.
Yeah, I think so. I like Bigsby here, and really, it's a fade on ETN. It's a fade on the rest of the backfield, and just saying that, hey, at some point, Tank Bigsby is going to get the short yardage work. He's going to get the work around the goal line. He's going to get into the end zone. And Travis Etienne, it just feels like that. Does that not feel like that's run its course? Does it not feel like Travis Etienne's time with Jacksonville is almost up?
It feels that way, but I don't know if anyone's told him. And now what happens when a new coach comes in, people go, oh, why can't it be like it was here? Or that, and it's not always copy and paste, just because you're an offensive coordinator doesn't mean you're just doing what you want to do. Sometimes you're taking the lead from the head coach in the style that they want. So sometimes we fall into false narratives. Sometimes they're true. Sometimes they're not. It depends on the coach and the situation. I'll tell you what, I got no part of it. Tootin late, okay, fine. I'll take a shot on him, but that's more of a dynasty play for me. So I'm just staying away from Jacksonville too. Outside of my boy there, Brian Thomas Jr., I got no love for the Jacksonville Jaguars in fantasy this year. Tucker Kraft goes next at 11:07. Dalton Kincaid, Jonnu Smith, LaQuan Jones, Ray Davis at 11:10. A very trendy selection here for a very trendy, well-dressed man, LaQuan Jones. So, LaQuan, talk to me about Ray Davis here, because Ray is a guy that I think a lot of people feel, okay, James Cook can't possibly repeat what he did last year. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. But regardless, as insurance, it looks like Ray Davis is a good purchase.
Yeah, this is just a just-in-case situation, man, and I love what he brings to the table, man. His head is on the swivel in the passing game, super explosive, in between the tackles, outside zone. It doesn't matter where you put the ball in his hands. It's a toss-off to him where he can get upfield quick. So the talent is there. The problem is that obviously James Cook is going through contract situations, so we don't know how that pans out, if he holds out or whatever the case may be. But if he does hold out and he comes back, he signs the contract, Ray Davis is going to be fresh all through camp, taking reps with the one. So talent is what I'm banking on here for him to show up and show out.
Rico Dowdle goes after, and then Pat Fitzmaurice takes another QB. Pat, how can you give all of that love to Drake May and then give all of that pick to Jordan Love? How did you do that? And then Marvin Mims went way too late here at 12:01. That's a good selection there. But why the second QB? I thought you just told me what a believer you were in Drake May. Did you lie to me on the show, Pat?
Oh, not intentionally, Joe. No, I believe in Drake May, but I want a veteran backup to my young up and coming quarterback. So I'm going to go with Jordan Love, who we did not see the best out of last year. Sprained his MCL in week 1, missed a pair of games, comes back, couldn't have been at full capacity then midway through the season, tweaks his groin and was playing at less than full strength. As a result, the Packers went really run heavy, 3rd run heaviest team in the league behind the Eagles and Ravens. And they've upgraded his weaponry with Matthew Golden and don't sleep on the freakishly athletic Savion Williams. So then Marvin Mims, Joe. So over his last 7 regular season games, Mims averaged 62 yards and scored 6 touchdowns. I mean, he did that despite not playing 50% of the snaps in any of those games. He averaged 0.72 PPR fantasy points per snap in those games. Now, I realize a lot of that was schemed up production. He got a bunch of yards on screens. They were lining him up in the backfield. But this is a dude who averaged 15.1 yards, average depth of target as a rookie, and averaged better than 20 yards per catch his last 2 seasons at Oklahoma and college. So he can make big plays down the field. It's all a matter of how Sean Payton wants to use him. But this dude is 23. There is all sorts of big play upside and just overall fantasy potential.
After the selection of Mims, Marquise Brown, then Bashal Tootin, the aforementioned there. So, LaQuan, you're clearly hitting the running back late here. Dobbins, Davis, Tootin in your last 3 picks. What's the upside this year for Tootin? Do you see it in the first half, or do you have to wait all the way to the second?
Nah, I might think we see an impact very early with Tootin, coming into camp, coming out of camp. It's more so just staying close to what the tea leaves are saying. When you look at the outside zone scheme that Liam Cohen most likely is going to be bringing, this is where Tootin thrives in. I mean, the home run ability is very decisive, making his lanes and decision making. So therefore, I'm going to go with the new shiny toy here, because we saw what Liam Cohen did with Bucky Irvin, and Bucky Irvin was my RB1 prospect rookie coming out of college. So I'm looking at this as I'm going to hang my hat on what I believed in last year with Bucky Irvin and have it with Tootin.
Duval. Jalen
No, we don't say
Wright.
it like that. Don't say it like that, Joe.
Duval.
Don't do that.
Jaden Blue. Oh, it's so awful. It's the worst thing. Romeo Dobbs and Wan'Dale Robinson. Terrell, this is one of my favorite late PPR picks, is Wan'Dale Robinson, because I feel like people don't realize last year how many catches he had. And I understand it's different quarterback, different blah, whatever. But he had 93 catches last year and 140 targets. And that was with Malik Nabers around for the majority of the season. He missed a little time with injury. I think this is a really cagey late round pick. Discuss.
Yeah, I do. The only reason I didn't feel good about it is because I thought I was going to cheat and I was going to get Palmer coming back around to me and I was going to have both of them. And so when I didn't get Palmer, I was very upset. But I still like Wan'Dale. And although Russ gives me cause for concern, the good thing for Wan'Dale was that I think he's going to have a good end of the season when we get Russ out of quarterback and then we have some Jameis in there. You might throw in some Jackson Dart in there. Like, Russ is not finishing the season for the Giants. I'll let you know right now. And towards the back half of that's going to be the best of Wan'Dale Robinson when he starts going all playing under a Jameis Winston, under a Jackson Dart, because Russ in the slot may not be the best mix.
Okay, there you go. Well, my draft gently weeps for you, Terrell, not getting Josh Palmer on the way back. Isaac Garendo, that's the last one, I promise. Isaac Garendo, then Josh Palmer at 1209, just 2 picks after. Really stick the knife in.
I know.
I don't know what's worse. Is it worse when it happens to you right, like 2 picks
right after? It's right after.
Is it right after or right before where you almost got it right? I don't know which is worse. LaQuan, what's worse? When you
it's right after, man.
Like, it's right after?
Yeah. It's
right
like, damn it.
Yeah, because it happened. It's like it happens. The sweat is over. Like, you're waiting for a sweat of like, okay, is he going to make it? Is he going to make it? Is he going to make it? And it's like, oh no, the sweat's over before it started.
I don't know. I'd be way more angry if he went right before me. If he goes right after, I'm like, okay, well, I knew what I was getting into. Palmer, Algier, Braylon Allen, and then Pat Fitzmaurice made some interesting yesterday on the show. Terrell, Pat, and I did. You made some interesting points about Roschon Johnson, Pat. So I'm going to listen to Pat Fitzmaurice, who's way smarter than I am. And I'm going to take Roschon here because I can't take Monongai, which is really just pissed me off. Jaden Higgins at 1301 is an absolute smash, absolute steal. So when Kirk gets phased out, Jaden Higgins gets phased up. It's that perfect transition for me on this roster. Luther Burden, Jack Besh, Jared Goff, and then Keenan Allen, who still is not signed, still as of recording this. Xavier Legette here, Terrell Furman selects him, then Quentin Johnson, Blake Corum, Jerome Ford, Tyler Warren, Hunter Henry. Last picks here just coming up through Kyle Pitts, Pat Fitzmaurice once more to the breach, Dontavian Wicks, Caleb Williams, then Adam Thielen to LaQuan. I like that late pick there. Guy just produces. Dallas Goedert, Colston Loveland is the next tight end to go off the board. Then Zach Ertz, another tight end. Terrell takes Andre Yoshivas, Jalen McMillan, Marshawn Lloyd, Jake Ferguson, Kate Otten, and I with my last pick, so I don't have to watch Kyler Murray all season, frowny face, or at least when the new Call of Duty comes out, I can replace him because I know he won't be doing much for me by then. I'm going to take Dak Prescott, and the fact that he is there with my last overall pick, considering, I don't know, what was he 2 years ago? Oh, I know, QB3. Come on. Steal. What are we doing here, bro? I'm going to take him there. And Draft Wizard was kind to me. The grades are out, boys and girls. I got an A. Not only am I hosting, but I'm out drafting everybody too. It's just
I got an A minus. I'm up there in the A tier.
Not good enough, Terrell. Not good enough. Team 8 was number 2. LaQuan was very good. Number 3. Team 4 came in 4th. Pat Fitzmaurice at 5. Terrell Furman Jr. You're gonna have to run some more mocks. It did not care for you at all. Did not care for some of your selections there. Dead last, Terrell. I don't agree. We're going to go through the rosters. We're going to see what people think. Just to you, everybody else there too. So you, in case first time you're watching us here, when you are done with your drafts, you can go and look at all of the what if scenarios, the sleeper alerts, the steals, the reaches. I said I reached for Rashad Bateman, whatever. The steal is Dak Prescott. Absolutely. If I knew Prescott would still be there with my last overall pick, maybe I wouldn't have taken Kyler Murray. What are you going to do? Sleeper picks Jaden Higgins and Bateman for me on this one too. And then it gives you the expert opinions. For instance, Dave Kluge and Tara Roberts from here, Fantasy Pros, like my draft the most. Andrew Erickson gave me a C+. Boo! Boo you, Andrew Erickson. It's because nobody wanted your guys yesterday on Fantasy Court. Don't take it out on me. It's not my fault. So let's break down the rosters here. And we'll start with our good friend, Terrell, because we're going to work our way up here. So Terrell, when you look at the expert opinions, and maybe the what if scenarios. Anything stand out to you when reviewing your roster?
Oh, other than everybody hated what I did here, I mean, it's perfectly fine. I didn't get any good remarks. And you know what? I started off with Malik Nabers, and I think that's where everybody just went ahead and said, you know what? This is going to be a long day for him. He's not going to lock in. He's taking a giant the first day, so we're not even going to take him as serious at all. But I like how I started the draft. I think that some of the things later in the draft didn't play out how I wanted, and those are the reasons that we mock. But if I start off my draft and I have that really good wide receiver trio of Nabers, Ladd McConkey, and T. Higgins, I feel confident about going in week to week each week.
I'm going to defend Terrell. I can't believe I'm doing this. Malik Nabers is a lot closer to Jamar Chase than he is to Nico Collins, folks. Like,
Facts.
I'm just saying. Right,
Facts.
LaQuan? That's
He's
what I'm
in that
talking
third
about.
tier.
So, look, I always wanted to do this. Pat knows this too. I've been pushing for us to, at the end of the year, do a show where we watch back these mock drafts and just see how good and bad some of the grades are and how the season goes. Because you'll see some of us who die on certain hills. Like I was dying on the Ladd McConkey hill last year, and I got some negative grades on it because the expert consensus wasn't where I was. And some of us forward-thinking people sometimes a little ahead of the curve. Let's talk about Terrell's roster, and we'll run through it here. It is Justin Herbert, a quarterback, Chuba Hubbard, RJ Harvey, followed by Malik Nabers, Ladd McConkey, T. Higgins. That is a great wide receiver core. I like the floor of the running backs. QB is solid. Travis Kelce is older than the hills, but whatever. One more ride in the sun. Then you got Odunze as your flex. The bench is Tracy, Najee, Bigsby, Yoshivas, Leggett, and Wandale. This is not the 12th team. I would put this somewhere around 6 at least. I think this is a good squad, and I would go to war with Terrell's squad with Malik and Ladd alone. Maybe I would have done something different. Maybe Terrell, the selection of the quarterback where you did. If you had to do it again, would you wait until the last round and taken a Purdy or a Dak or something like that?
Yeah, possibly. Probably would have waited a little bit longer.
Yeah, that probably would have done it for you. All right, let's move up the ladder a little bit with Pat Fitzmaurice, the next guy in terms of finishing. Pat, your roster, Jordan Love at quarterback, Ashton Genty, and Aaron Jones. Interesting pairing, young and old. It's like sitting under the learning tree here for Aaron Jones. Brian Thomas, Mike Evans, Ted McMillan. That's a sexy wide receiver group. George Kittle, Khalil Shakir, then Javonte Williams, Drake May, ATN Pitts, Marvin Mims, and Wicks. So Pat started off really strong. When the dust is cleared, what's your thoughts on the grade, the expert opinions? What might you have done differently?
I'm pretty happy with the team. I think it could have been an A, but the Fantasy Pros grading algorithm automatically docks you a letter grade if you draft Kyle Pitts. Some people might not know that. So I only got a B. A guy named Pat Fitzmaurice really liked my draft. He was the keenest on the draft, but also in the top 5 as far as people who liked it. Derek Brown, Andrew Erickson.
Oh, well, so, Andrew likes your draft, doesn't like mine. I see.
Yeah. Among the people who didn't like my draft, Matt Harmon. I'm going to have a word with him about that at the Fantasy Football Expo next month.
That worries me. When Erickson doesn't like my draft, whatever. But when Matt Harmon doesn't like my draft, then I might have to go back and
right. The wide receiver guy makes you second guess your wide receivers. That's not good.
That's frustrating.
That speaking of wide receiver, Joe, that's my one spot of second guessing. I was sort of torn between Aaron Jones and Calvin Ridley, who would have been a pretty sexy 4th receiver flex guy. Mm-hmm. But I just wasn't sure what was going to be around at running back later on if I passed on a second running back at the top of the 6th round. Had I known that I was going to be able to get Javonte and ETN and sort of tag team that RB2 spot with those guys, I probably would have taken Ridley. But otherwise, I was pretty pleased.
Yeah, I mean, look, you have Kittle too. So if you don't like as much where your wide receivers are,
right,
you've got a top 3 tight end, which other teams are not going to have. So I think they always look, whenever you take an early tight end, the roster always looks a little different. Same thing when you take an early quarterback. The roster looks, if you're going to push the needle for a guy, I like to push it for an Allen or a Lamar, because to me, those guys are week winners, right? Lamar goes off in a day. It doesn't matter what the rest of your roster does, right? Because that dude's already put you in the W column. So to me, if I'm going to go early, I go early on one of the quarterbacks. But look, I mean, who knows what Brock Bowers is, in year 2. God can only help the rest of the league here in that scenario. I also feel like, Pat, when you're at the turn, I always like the double up strategy. Like I would have taken Genty and Henry and just said, okay, deal with it, folks. And then, or I would have taken Brian Thomas and, Drake London and said, deal with it. The double up to me kind of lets the rest of the draft dictate to you a little bit. But again, this is what you can do. You can test all these different theories, test all these different things, undo picks, do them again. You can run like a dozen mocks in 20 minutes. It's crazy. Actually, probably even less if you're quick about it. All right, let's get to another wonderful person here, LaQuan Jones. Let's take a look at your team here. It's an A, not quite the highest A, but an A nonetheless.
Come
I'm still
on.
proud of you. So proud of you. You can bring it back and still be proud to all the folks at NFL Network. Bo Nix, Brees Hall, DeAndre Swift, Puka Nacua, Drake London, DJ Moore, David Njoku, George Pickens, and then the bench. Oh my goodness. Samuel, Dobbins, Warren, Adam Thielen, Ray Davis, Bashal Tutin. It is a good roster, LaQuan. I mean, I would definitely give this one an A as well.
Absolutely, man. I'm really proud of my bench, honestly, even though I had to like pivot on some of the areas. Like I wanted RJ Harvey. I wanted Jordan Mason. Like there was a lot of players that I didn't get my hands on, but I made up for it. That's part of just adjusting and pivoting to other things when you get sniped or guys go a little bit earlier than you were actually willing to reach. So like I like this well-balanced, team. And I think Andy Barron's, he has an issue of me going Puka and DJ Moore and Swift, but that's fine. He's a Bears guy. I would think he would be on board with that. That's kind of weird, but hey, here we are. But at the end of the day, like, I feel like I killed it, man. And I think a lot of times, like when I hit these drafts this summer, I'm going to be going heavy wide receiver. Even if it's not through wide receiver and a flex, I'm still going to be hitting and smashing these wide receivers just to have that backing. Because again, you could wait on excellent value at the quarterback position and the tight end position. Like you getting Dak as your last pick is like freaking insane to me, because it's like people forget just a couple years ago he was a top 3 quarterback in fantasy. Like this is still on the table, if not more cemented in stone. So again, I am willing to pay up for Bo Nix because it's Nix tape season, because I'm going to stand and die on this hill in July.
It's funny because like the negativity around Dak and the Cowboys is feeding into the fantasy negativity, which is just it's a bad narrative. It's bad. Because you got Pickens, you got Lamb, you got no backfield, and you got a competitive division.
Don't forget Jake Ferguson.
And Jake Ferguson. And don't forget, they got to push the football, because it's going to be a very competitive division this year. Very competitive. There's no sleepwalking through stuff. So quarterback this year, it makes Superflex really interesting. I can't wait for our next draft. I think it's Superflex. If not, it's coming up soon, because I think that's going to be really fascinating, because the Drake Mays, the Justin Fields, the Daks, like all these undervalued quarterbacks that are out there, really going to change that landscape this year. I might be more apt than ever if I don't have a top 3 pick, like in the middle, and I'm smashing like a Bijan or maybe a Nabers or somebody like that in the middle spot in the first round, and then coming back around, or Jahmyr Gibbs, somebody like that. Okay, here's the top roster according to Draft Wizard. Just not me. It's not me. This is what the experts say. Just putting that out there. Kyler Murray as QB, but really Dak Prescott, because after 1 week, I'll get mad and replace him. Kyron Williams at RB1, RB2, Alvin Kamara, not a bad combination. The wide receivers, it's a guy named Jamar Chase, a guy named Tyreek Hill. Again, I have my concerns with Tyreek. I feel you, everybody, but as my wide receiver too, I can't say no. Cortland Sutton as the third guy, Mark Andrews. I can always count on him. It's last year for him, right off into the sunset as the Ravens win the Super Bowl this year. That's right. I said it. The Ravens are going to win the Super Bowl. Whoa. Caleb Johnson at flex. Then the bench, Stephon Diggs, Dak Prescott, Christian Kirk, Rashad Bateman, Roschon Johnson, Jaden Higgins. Ooh, I love the Jaden Higgins team. LaQuan, since you're our guest, I'll let you pick apart this roster. What do you like? What do you don't like? Where's this thing going to go right and wrong?
Well, first of all, I don't like that you got the Rams losing the Super Bowl to the Ravens, but I'll let that sit.
Actually, I do. I do.
No,
that's actually what I have.
We're not rocking with that. But I absolutely love the value that you took on, man. Honestly, look, I know Mark Andrews had his thing last year, but he was in a car crash, man. And like that slow start, it kind of hurt some folks just based on where he was going in drafts, but he still had 10 touchdowns, from week 7 and on, like you said. I mean, that's honestly Lamar Jackson's guy. Like he went up front and went to the media and was like, hey man, the 2-point conversion, it happens, on to the next. So like they're supporting him and they're still around him. And I think Isaiah Likely, with both of them being on contract situations, there's no way they're going to let Mark go out on some slump stuff, man. They're not going to let the young guy overleap him. So I love your tight end, man. I definitely love Christian Kirk. Huge Christian Kirk guy. I hope he doesn't get outplayed by Jalen Well over there and Jaden Higgins, even though you grabbed Jaden Higgins there.
All right, I got that on rack. I got that on lock, baby.
Yeah.
Just in case that happens. You go. I got the insurance.
I'm a huge Higgins fan. Like people wasn't hearing me going into the draft. I was like, this boy can ball. And he ended up with CJ Stroud. Do we understand the opportunity of this offense this year with Nico Collins, Jaden Higgins? And look, I understand that, health is the big thing with Nico, but Nico is still pretty freaking good at football. So I definitely think that this offense has a lot of scoring opportunities, and Higgins is going to be that huge red zone threat. I love Roschon Johnson too, man. We just talked about it. I mean, Kyle Monungai, they're fighting for that, David Montgomery thing, but if you look at Roschon Johnson in striking distance, which is like less than 10 yards in the red zone and goal line, he had a 90% success rate, which led all running backs in that area. So he's shown that he could get those touchdowns, man. Like, I definitely think that this is going to be an offense that's just going to go under the radar, especially that backfield. So cleaned up nice getting him in the 12th round.
There you go. So that's the draft for today. What did you think about it? Who had the best team? Drop your comments below, because one of those comments could win you a James Cook autographed jersey from pristineauction.com. So like this video, subscribe to the channel, drop your comments below. Who won the draft? Who's your favorite roster? Why is it Terrell's? And that'll do it for us. But the story of the game goes on. For LaQuan Jones, Terrell Furman Jr., Pat Fitzmaurice, I'm Joey P. We'll see you next time, kids.